Good morning, you dapper and wonderful fucks. Here we go again, starting the gradual ascent from an elevation of about 3,000 feet in the barren fog deserts close to the town of Iquique, headed east up into the mountainous region of the Atacama Desert, the upper elevations of the Andes. You can see some jackass put a toilet here in the middle of this barren volcanic flats. Looks over there like you might have some Tillandsia on those hillsides. Gotta be Tillandsia, because I can't imagine what else would actually be able to put roots down in this this soil. Again, temperature is actually pretty nice. It's not that hot. This is a relatively mild desert. Doesn't seem to get more than 90 degrees at any one point in time here closer to the coast. We are just a few miles inland from the Pacific. Anyway, I did check that toilet. Nobody's taking a dump in it. But we're going to get back on the road and start heading up into the mountains. Yeah. Yep, it's all Tillandsia, but it's some rather large mats of Tillandsia, if you could call them that. I wouldn't even call them mats. They're basically goddamn clumps. And they're thriving here. This is Tillandsia landbeckii. Little woolly, tentacle-looking bastard. Again, just probably bathing in the fog, which is quite frequent here. Again, temperature right now is like a beautiful day in San Francisco. Not too warm. I'm wearing long pants, some long sleeve shirts. And I'm not roasting my ass off, you know. I'm comfortable. It's because the ocean's close and you have those cold Humboldt currents coming up from the south. And those cold Humboldt currents, again, dictate everything here. They're why this desert is so dry. They're why you get so many fog-dependent plants here. Some of those copiapoas further south. Again, way more moisture comes in the form of fog than the form of rain. That's a big fucker. How old do you think this guy is, huh? 100 years? 200 years? Can't imagine the growth rate is very fast. You could see where he was, you know, probably 50 years ago. That whole mat of roots. Again, the roots just kind of hold it in place. And a lot of these Tillandsias, and a lot of these Bromeliaceae, same family as pineapple, and a lot of these Tillandsia species, the roots just hold it in place. They're just an anchor. Almost all the moisture is always trapped by those goddamn trichomes, those woolly hairs on the foliage. This is Bromeliaceae is the family. Order is Poales, same order as grasses. I think palm trees are in Poales too. The palm family. There's the little seed capsules. And the seeds, well, this ain't ripe yet, but the seeds, of course, have this this kind of fuzz on them that helps in wind dispersal. So that's why you'll see, you know, like ball moss in Texas, Tillandsia recurvata. That's why you'll see it all up on the power lines and the oak trees and shit. Just wind dispersed, and then it just lands wherever. And then I had a friend. It's really interesting. I had a friend who used to grow these from seed, and the way he would germinate the seed is on a little piece of mesh in a humid greenhouse. He was an ingenious and dapper bastard. Is still alive. Wonderful man. Martin Grantham. Anyway, moving right along. Notice how the Tillandsia is only on those ridges, probably because that's where the fog condenses first. And most, on top of those little I don't know, I guess you'd call them, they're ridges. They're like mini ridges. Yeah, there's a flower. Not many left, but a few. Again, petals in multiples of 3. Petals and sepals multiples of 3. As they are a monocot. Talk about variations on a theme. A couple different versions of andesite we've been seeing. Andesite, extrusive igneous rock, intermediate between basalt and rhyolite in composition, in silica composition. So you could see how thick the fog must get here. I mean, these are basically runoff patterns from where the fog got so thick it condensed and ran down. If it was rain, they would be all over the mountain, but they're basically just where the Tillandsia is. So because the Tillandsia is up there for the fog to condense on, it basically, you know, condenses on Tillandsia and then collects so much that it runs down this mountain. I mean, it looks like a, you know, when you're a kid and you're making the dribbly shit with the sand castles and, you know, take some watery sand. Incredible. So the fog here must be extremely thick. Probably, I'd assume, mornings and evenings the most. And again, just, yeah, it's incredibly fragile. I mean, it's just entirely dependent on fog. But, you know, that cold Pacific Ocean current, that Humboldt current ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So, stable enough for this Tillandsia to be here for millions of years. So here we go. Here we see the base of an entire ecosystem. Basically just an entire ecosystem dominated by this species of Chilean mesquite, this species of Prosopis, of course in the pea family, Fabaceae. This is the only large thing growing around here. And it, like I said, it probably is the base of the entire food chain in this region, on this salty volcanic soil. So all the birds, all the insects, everything depends on this species of mesquite, which of course the seeds are edible. Also the insects probably have some sort of ecology with it, either nibbling on the foliage or burrowing into the wood. Birds then eat the insects, etc. And what the shit. This was probably a very important plant for the indigenous people here. You see, it's got the stipular spines coming out of the leaf nodes. Oh shit, that must be one of the fruits. Yeah, so there you go. There's some flowers just about to open. Over here we got some fruits. Now it is bone dry. This soil is bone dry, so I'm guessing these roots probably go quite far down into that soil. Of course, we get mesquite from the Mojave Desert in California, east all the way to Texas. In the Mojave, it rarely gets taller than 8 feet. You go to the Sonoran Desert where they got summer rain. They can become up to this size, up to 20 feet tall. Wonderful shade tree, wonderful canopy tree. If you have the misfortune to be in I don't know, say Tucson in August, wonderful town, but just not in August. You know, this is one of the main, this is basically the only tree that is going to shade your ass should you be outside during the day. But nobody who lives in Tucson ever goes outside during the day. You know, I think 9 p.m. is roughly when people start to come out of their little hobbit holes. Anyway, there you go. Mesquite, Chilean mesquite. All right, so you can see the Prosopis is having no trouble at all growing on what appears to be some of the most, possibly the most fucked up soil I've ever seen. I mean, it's just, it's got the texture and the consistency of a bad batch of concrete. Super rough. You know, wasn't smoothed out. Vinny mixed the batch wrong, fucked it all up, forgot to smooth it out. You know, probably because he's just has a shitty work ethic and he just made a batch of concrete, poured it on the ground, walked away. You know, but even Vinny couldn't fuck this up. I mean, look, this is not even, it's not even flat. It feels like those, some of those volcanic, you know, basaltic flows and lava flows in northeastern California. It is brutal, and this is what is on the ground everywhere. This is, it's like almost looks like a gypsum salt. Probably just salt itself, but yeah, I mean, I'm just amazed that the mesquite, the Chilean mesquite, can grow here. Just incredible. And then, of course, looking east to the Andes. There we go. There's some flowers on this Prosopis tamarugo. Now this one seems to be native, I mean, not native, they're all native, but I mean, this one seems to be a natural occurrence of one, whereas, you know, further up the road a little bit, they seem to be farming it, which is cool, they're farming a native species, but look how much smaller the flowering spikes here are compared to the northern hemisphere species. You got screwbean mesquite too up there in New Mexico and Texas. Just the crazy pea family. And a weird thing too is you can actually hear the salt crinkling as it heats up in the sun. We were just under a cloud went away, and just suddenly all at once there was this crinkling coming from this whole landscape as you know, it heated up in the sun. Just incredible. What is it? Someone took a shit? Oh, it looks like someone took a shit there. That's nice. Humans, huh? Oh yeah, this is the shitting spot. Look at all the teepee. Anyway, I do have to say, this mesquite smells good. It does. You know, you could catch a whiff. I'm not sure if that's terpenes coming out of the foliage or just the wood or what. But of course, mesquite being what they use to smoke meats and what the shit, you know, in the United States, and it is the same genus. So Okay, we are in the middle of fucking nowhere, all right? I mean, all you're seeing mostly is just truck traffic. It'd be the race to nowhere. And, I mean, just there's nothing under power lines. There's no houses. These are the first plants we've seen in about 30 miles. You could see it's just incredibly salty and incredibly dry soil. Here we have our first plant. I'm going to go with, it's probably an Amaranthaceae. It's probably an Atriplex. Certainly looks like an Atriplex. You could see, you can almost see the salt crystals on the leaves. Of course, so many of the plants in the genus Atriplex are highly adapted. A lot of them are halophytes. They're not only adapted to drought, but extremely adapted to salt as well. You get a lot of them, quite a few in the Mojave Desert. Atriplex hymenolatra is one of my favorites. That's also known as desert holly. You can see what they do. They basically, to fight the hypersaline, salt holds on to water. So to fight the hypersaline soil, what they do is a lot of them will accumulate salt in their tissues to they'll become saltier than the soil to draw that water out. I have no idea what species of Atriplex this is, but and it looks like a weedy bullshit plant, and then you learn the backstory and it becomes a fucking marvel of evolution. Happens all the time when you're getting into botany. Oh yeah. Look at this fucking, oh, just like a brick of cement. Oh yeah, there's all the salt. Got quite a few other plants here. We got what seems to be a Tiquilia. You can see the flowers are just fucking tiny. Fucking tiny. You live in a hot, dry environment, you want to get tiny flowers. You guys complain because I don't use a tripod. Well, you just have to deal with it. All right, do I look like a sophisticated fuck? Do I look like the type of schmuck who's going to come out here with a tripod? Huh? Plus, I got a lot of caffeine going through me. You'll be fine, huh? Just settle down. Don't worry about it. Look at those flowers. Typical. Looks like a borage. Looks like a Tiquilia. Okay, that's shaking too much for me, too. Fuck. Pain in the ass. Anyway, and there you go. Over there, you got a Adesmia, which there's no flowers, but it's got tiny little pinnate leaves on it, so I could tell it's a Fabaceae, which kind of narrows it down to only one genus, at least in my mind. It's probably an Adesmia species. It seems to be pretty prominent out here. Lots of variation in the genus Adesmia. Okay, so slowly going upward about 6,500 feet. Not a goddamn plant in sight. And then you see this beautiful Cistanthe, which looks like it's on the verge of death. But check out that foliage. Look at that very odd foliage. Again, Montiaceae, the bitterroot family. There's the flowers. It's actually not that hot. It's not that hot at all. It's quite a cool breeze coming off. What a weird fucker, huh? Look at that foliage. One of the fucking 9,000 species of Cistanthe. I don't know how many species are. There's quite a few. Here's a bit nicer of a specimen. With blue leaves. That is, the leaves haven't been roasted like that other one. Yeah, this is the only thing flowering here. For miles. This species of Cistanthe. Fucking incredible. What a beaut, huh? You like that? A little rosette. There's your dispersal mechanism right here. These are basically just the flower heads. They come off and they tumble in the wind. Each head has, I don't know, probably a couple hundred seeds in it. Tiny, tiny black poppy seed looking things. They just tumble along the desert, scattering seed everywhere along the desert floor. All right, so continuing eastward up into the mountains, we're probably at an elevation about 7,100, maybe 7,500 feet now. Using that Cistanthe again. We've actually reached some diversity now. We also have this Tiquilia in the family Boraginaceae here as well. Almost thought that was a Cryptanthe at first, but it's a Tiquilia. We get quite a few Tiquilias in North America too, in the deserts up there. Another Boraginaceae. You can see that Cistanthe that just goes on for miles. It's Cistanthe and that Tiquilia are the only things growing anywhere around here. Oh yeah, nice mirage in the distance. Again, the whole substrate here is just alluvial volcanic deposits. So just, millions of years of debris washing down from higher elevations and accumulating in one big alluvial flat. Not solid bedrock, just basically, an eon's worth of pebbles and rocks. And then get up close and look at those flowers. God, that wind's a pisser, huh? Look at it. Tiquilia. Do you like Tiquilia? Do you like it? I do. We get a couple in the Mojave, too. They could take the heat. They could take a bruising. They're annuals up there. This might be an annual, too. So you got a woody stem. It's an annual, it looks like. You got those stamens just exerted. Got a nice color to those leaves, huh? And again, just covered in irritating hairs. So nothing gnaws on them. See, it wasn't so bad, huh? Would you quit fucking whining, huh? Just deal with it. Okay, I'm sorry. I gave you bad dope before. We weren't at 7,000 feet. We're at roughly 10,900 feet. It's 3,300 meters. And you can see the higher up we get in elevation, the Cistanthe is still going strong. We also get a new species here. Another species of Cistanthe. This guy. But again, those betaline pigments just popping off. Quite a bit of, I wouldn't call it diversity, but for the Atacama Desert, it's diversity. We got, what, 3 or 4 species now? A Cryptantha, a Tiquilia, 2 species of Cistanthe. Oh, look, you got a, and it looks like an Atriplex or something, too. Amaranthaceae. Maybe not an Atriplex, but one of the Chenopodes. The artist formerly known as Chenopode. Chenopodium. And just a substrate of volcanics. So, just a massive population of Cistanthe. Probably 2 or 3 species. They probably do hybridize. And just a whole lot of genetic recombination going on. A whole lot of flower banging via the help of whatever pollinates these. Probably some kind of small fly. So when you've got this much genetic recombination going on, you're going to get a lot more mutations than you would in a much smaller population. More mutations means more opportunities for beneficial alleles to come up. Basically, beneficial new versions of a gene. And when you get enough of that within a population, if it's beneficial, it ends up becoming more dominant in the population. And when it becomes, when the allele frequency becomes more dominant in the population, when the allele frequency becomes more high in the population, rather, you end up getting either a new hybrid or possibly even a new species. But, I mean, it's just, Cistanthe has this whole, this whole area on lockdown. Look at those fucking hills over there. You can't tell, but they're a little pink, and that's all Cistanthe. I mean, it's really got the monopoly here, except for this little Chenopode, whatever the fuck that is. Look, a little bit more floristic diversity. It's a Phacelia. This one smells heavily like cannabis. Got a lot of terpenes in those glands. See those glandular trichomes right there on its stem? How about that? Boraginaceae. All right, well, still not much diversity, but we got a little bit more. Here's a species of Malvaceae. That's the cotton family, the hibiscus family. You can see all those anthers fused to a central column. What's remarkable, excuse me, about this fucker is that there's no hair. It's completely glabrous, almost a waxy stem. Which, we've not been seeing that too much. Well, I guess the Cistanthe has it right there. But to see this weird mallow, and again, the same family as our native California flannel bush, and you want to note that branching structure is similar too. Just the shoots get narrower. The shoots get narrower as you move up the stem, but still stay at almost a perfect 45-degree angle to that stem. Vermonodendron does that. Caranthodendron does that. And where's the tiny leaves? Oh yeah. Where the shit? You see tiny palmade leaves. Tiny palmade leaves like a mallow. Hey, you prick. Okay, I showed you this a few days ago. This thing is in Verbenaceae, the lantana family, in the order of mints, Lamiales, and it smells incredible. It's probably a 20 or 30-year-old plant. You can make a tea out of it. The tea is very pleasant. But look at the leaves here. I mean, it's incredible. They're not even like leaves. They're more like scales. Just so tiny, so tiny. If you can see the flowers there, they're mostly done. This is Acantholippia. I think they changed the genus to Aloysia now. I think this is Tarapacana or Tarapacana. Again, woody ass stem. A lot of Lantana family. A lot of verbenas smell like this, and they do that same thing with the leaves. At least these high desert ones, just really minimize them and keep them pressed to the stem. Look at this enigmatic fuck, just coming up on the salty mud, the salty dry mud. Nice cigarette butt. A lot of people still smoke in this country. It's kind of gross. The fuck. Anyway. Look at this. Multi-seriate phyllodes. Obviously, it's Asteraceae, the sunflower family. Don't you like it when I say it? You like it when I say it? You sick fuck out there. Keep saying it. And you got some discoid flowers though. You got multi-seriate phyllodes. You got some ligules, aka some daisy rays, and you got typical discoid flowers with the little 5-lobe corollas in there. Why are the flowers pendant though? Why? It's kind of nice. Is it nice? Do you like it when it's nice? You know, in Chicago, nice just means tolerable disdain. How about that? Think that volcano's going to go off? Talk about variations on a theme. Here's a species of Krameria in Krameriaceae, notable for their fruits, which are like these little Velcro fruits. Quite sticky. Oh, yeah. As you can see right there. Beautiful flowers, though. And some of the ones in the northern hemisphere are parasitic, at least semi-parasitic. Hemiparasitic is the common word for it. Look at that foliage, though. Pretty notable. Pretty stiff, too. Covered in velvety hairs, because, yeah, fucking Atacama desert. Look at that fog just pouring over the mountain. Down here, it's not volcanic anymore. It's intrusive igneous. Looks like a little piece of gabbro right there. Just basically, well, it's not granite, but it looks like black granite. You can see that the large grain size in this rock. More iron and less silicon in granite. Hasn't been any plant life for I don't know, the last 150 miles. Just every 20 miles we'd see a bush, but now we're close enough to the ocean. You get a little bit more fog. It looks like we got a species of what appears to be in the cotton family. It looks like it might be a Cristaria. Very glandular, very sticky. Can you see the glands? Do you see the glands up there? Do you like them? Huh? Do they make you feel good? Does it make you feel nice? Makes me feel pretty good. Like all those anthers fused to that central column, 5 distinct petals. What's the calyx look like? You see, look, it looks like a hibiscus, which of course is in the same family, Malvaceae. Oh, look at the calyx, nice. 5 sepals. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cristaria. So as we get a little bit higher, Cristaria is everywhere. It's a dominant plant here. There was one other species of Solanaceae, possibly a Fabiana, and it was the only other plant we saw. You could feel the fog on your face. Salty, briny fog, which I'm quite familiar living in the SF Bay area for far too long. Look at how glandular again. Look at how glandular it is. Like tar. Just helping those tissues retain their moisture. Oh yeah, you can see something up there. You can see a little bit of something. Fucking wind. Temperatures are pretty cool though. That fog is nice. Because inland it was like 90 degrees. Look, evidence of rain, or at least the movement of water. That wash didn't make itself. God, fuck. Woo! So fucking dry. So barren. Do you have to curse so much? Do you have to? Why do you do that? Why? You know, I want to take my kids to see this, and then you just ruin it. You just open that mouth. You just let that mouth go. Then you're insulting people, making fun of grandpas.